I supposed to say my name when you guys introduction thing you guys
Say
do?
my name.
Yeah.
Say my name.
This episode is gonna be pure random because my dad wants it so badly. He's been asking me like 6 different times, can we do an episode where it's completely random?
It's just
Are you
improvised.
recording?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I already messed up the introduction. I forgot I'm not supposed to cuss.
No.
You can cuss.
Let's do the introduction.
We're not
Let's do
family
the
friendly.
introduction right now.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's do it. All right. Welcome to the
Let's do it.
Carbcast podcast. I'm here with my father,
Yep.
Emilio.
Oh,
You're
geez,
supposed to say your
Emilio
name,
Carb.
Emilio.
I know. I was going to. You screwed it up. Thank you
I didn't
again.
screw it
Once
up.
again, We have a bad intro. Go
Uh,
ahead. Next.
anyway, we have our first guest on the podcast for this episode. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Logan Villa, and I don't fucking know what to do. I write stuff.
Villa.
Villa.
How do you know us, Logan Villa?
Yeah. How do you
How do
know
I know
us?
you guys? Well, I'm dating your daughter somehow. Don't know how it happened, but
It's because the cancer.
Oh yeah.
She felt
yeah,
bad for
because
you.
of cancer. She felt bad. Exactly.
Fucking dickhead.
I make fun of it all the time.
It's a
That's
good
good,
excuse.
though. I like it. I'm glad to have you here, and you're a good kid. So that's the only
thank
reason you were
you.
dating my daughter. Otherwise, we would have went fishing already.
We went
You're gonna
fishing
take me
already.
fishing?
Yeah, fishing. You know, like two go out and one comes back.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what happened
On
to
the
him.
old canoe.
I mean, accidents happen on the river all the time.
That's pretty accidents happen on the road. Okay, Logan, I think you probably shouldn't
I don't think I'm gonna go late.
go on fishing with him if he asks you
Well, like I
to.
said, I like you. I like you, so that don't make me not like you.
Oh, okay. I don't plan on to.
Today's topic is firearms and
Oh my God.
apparently randomness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't even know.
Yeah, it was supposed to be firearms, but my dad wants a random video so badly that we just started recording.
Well, I like Tommy guns.
I like Tommy guns. Yeah,
I don't even know what caliber that is.
45 ACP. God's caliber.
ACP.
ACP.
That was 44.
It's 45.
I'm way off.
What's ACP?
Automatic. I can't remember. Let me look it up.
ACP.
Caliber.
ACP.
Carbine.
Bullets.
Okay.
Automatic
Have,
Colt pistol.
Ooh.
Which that's kind of that's an old term that we still use. Because I mean, we use ACP in a
Colt
lot of
invented it?
stuff. I don't know. Yeah, the Colt
I feel like-
the Colt
I feel like
1911.
probably
Yeah,
they would have invented it.
they did. So that makes sense. But we still use ACP in other things like 380 ACP, 25 ACP, and it's kind of just like a. I mean,
25 ACP. Like what?
that's a tiny
What
boy.
is that used for?
Nothing. They
That
suck.
varmint?
No, they're just like I don't know the history behind them, but they suck and they're cheap, so people make small little cheap guns in them.
Like kind of a Derringer type style gun? or
Kind of, but like worse. Like
worse?
yeah, honestly, like if you're going with that small of a caliber, just use 22 long rifle because 25 ACP is just bad.
That's great. Yeah. You know 22 shorts, dude?
Yeah, 22 short.
I have one. They're great.
You
They're
have one?
tiny.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
small. They're like half the size of a
It's
22
just-
LR.
It doesn't. I don't know what it is. I think it's the firing pin. It's just not enough oomph to it, so it doesn't exactly fire all the cartridges.
Oh, so you have a gun in 25 short? Or
Yeah,
22
it's
short?
Like You know, when you go to a store, you can pick up like $100 little
Yeah.
cricket. It's that,
Mm.
but like the '60s. So old wood and everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they make some stuff in
Yeah,
22
that's-
short.
60s, but '70s maybe.
Yeah, do you have
Yeah.
pistol or rifle or? I assume it's pistol.
Oh, yeah, it's a rifle, I should say.
Oh.
It's like a little cricket rifle, like a youth one, but a little bit bigger for, I guess, an adult.
Do you think you could Ollie, do you think you could like dig into that and see? I mean, Logan, you're saying that it misfires or
It doesn't. What do you mean by misfire?
I could. No, he's saying
Well,
it doesn't
you were saying
fire.
something about the firing pin.
The firing pin. Okay, so when you pull the trigger, it does hit the not primer, the case, or because it's just this.
It's rim fire.
It's not. Yes, it rimfire. It hits the case of that bullet, and you can see the indent, but I think it just doesn't have enough impact that it doesn't ignite
Yeah.
the bullet.
Yeah, that happens a
So
lot. A lot.
And I'm not surprised since how it's older
Mhm.
than I think even my grandmother, and she's 70. So
Yeah, with those older guns, the not only do the firing pins get worn out and flat, the springs also get worn out and stop working.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
So,
So you replace them or
I'm curious
sharpen
because
it.
I've actually been curious about it multiple times and never looked into it. Rimfire.
Mhm.
One, how does that work? And then two, you just said the pin gets flattened out. So is there a certain shape to that pin?
So it depends on the gun, but a lot of the times you want it's like definitely a more sharper kind of look to them. A lot of them are still kind of flat, but basically there is like these little ignition points on the rim of the cartridge, so the entire rim of it is the primer, whereas in center fires the primer is right in the center. So basically so the way it works is the rim will sit the round and the cartridge will go into the chamber, and the rim will kind of be on the outside of the chamber up against like the wall, so it's flat and hard surface, and the firing pin will hit the rim and crush it against that wall, and that's what sets it off.
So it's kind
it's
of
not.
like
It's not.
sorry.
I was going to say it's not exactly like hitting it dead center. It's like off.
No,
the
yeah,
corner and
it's
whatnot,
literally the rim of the
right?
cartridge.
Oh, yeah,
So
like
the-
okay, I see what you're saying.
The rim is kind of like percussion cap.
Yeah, it's a primer. It has the primer stuff inside the rim itself.
So
I always wondered why they did that.
is it
Um,
because usually when the rim, like the bullets that's rim fire, is it because it's smaller? So it's like waste.
I'm not sure. I think it
Resources.
might have just been I think I wrote it in my notes at some point. I'm not sure.
That's actually good logic right there, Logan. I
Well,
would assume the same thing.
I-
Like to do a percussion cap or a primer, it's probably gonna cost more to put a primer in than the whole bullet and shell's worth.
Well,
I
okay.
think I'll take that back because I know, remembering that there is bigger calibers that is also a rimfire.
Yeah, there are.
There
Rimfire
are, like-
was made before Centerfire, so I think it was just they figured out how to make it, how to put the primer in the back, and they just figured it out that way first.
Right.
Yeah, and then they
I-
figured out how to put it in the center.
Martini Henrys, the single action ones after
Yeah.
the.
Those things are dope.
I think those are rimfires, and soon after
Let
because
me.
the pop was it like. It was that single action.
Yeah,
Value.
it's
Take it out, the bullet out. It used to have been black powder, and then there was the cartridge,
Mhm.
and then I think they started making it with the primer in the middle.
See, that's
think
what I thought.
soon
303
after.
British. It seems like they were made in a bunch of different calibers, but there was one that was in rimfire, yeah.
Oh,
But there was some
okay.
that it was in centerfire apparently.
Okay.
You know what
But
I
yeah,
thought,
you got
man?
that right. They started off as like they used like patches and stuff like that, and then they
Okay.
went over to like self-contained cartridges.
I was just thinking of like the rifleman, the lever action, the cowboys.
Hmm.
Soon after, what was it? The Spanish, not the Spanish. It was before the Spanish.
They were used a
They
lot.
started doing.
They were used in
Yeah.
a lot of different wars. It even has the war in Afghanistan in 78 to present. They saw some.
Rimfire?
No, the Martini Henry itself.
Oh,
It's-
really?
It's a
beautiful
old
gun.
gun. It's 1871, and apparently we still saw it in Afghanistan.
That's crazy. Well, they're cheap. I think they're not
They suck.
necessarily cheap anymore, but I mean they're very, like yeah, pretty much what you said. But
Yeah.
they're still beautiful to me.
Yeah,
My
they
heart.
are gorgeous, but they suck. I think they're smoothbore, so they have like no accuracy. Like you point it out there, and I mean it might hit, but it also might not hit.
How
You
many
said
rounds does it hold?
Afghanistan.
It's one. Yeah. It's a so what it is it's
Breech.
a yeah, breech loading falling block. I think that's what it is, falling block. So yeah, you push the lever forward and the breech itself falls downward, thus calling it a falling block, and then you load the round in through the back and lift the breech back up and closing it.
Oh,
You get what
Have
I'm-
you seen?
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Have you seen the lever action shotguns, like the old?
Yeah, the
Western ones.
1887.
I
Oh.
If you've seen one of those, that's almost the same thing, except for those
Uh,
hold almost like 5 rounds.
yeah,
Well, I
they're
mean, like,
kind
you
of
push
they're
the lever
kind
and
of similar.
It opens from the top, and then you load it from
Yeah.
down, and then
They're it's
there's
it's a
two
little
on it.
different, but it's basically the same thing. Yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
was using that as a reference because, like, if you've seen that,
Oh,
you can almost imagine what a martini.
you can still buy one.
What martini?
No, the 1887
Well,
lever action
martini.
shotgun.
Yeah, it starts with a CH. They
Chiappa.
make them.
It's Chiappa.
Yeah. There's a couple of new brands too, where it's more tactical look. You know, with that.
I don't know if you
Not
want a
necessarily
tactical
very
look for an
classic.
1887.
Hey, so that single shot,
Uh huh.
and they were still using war and modern war.
Hmm.
I'd hate to be that guy. Like, hey, new guy, here's your single shot. Hope you make it.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about that stuff happening in the Russian-Ukraine war?
Mm-hmm.
There was instances of soldiers being handed. Yeah, they were being handed BB guns at some point.
Hey, sometimes it only takes a show of force.
I mean, I guess, but a BB gun.
If it was,
They're
like,
wearing
the
full
gas
gear.
pressured ones. Oh, not even with full gear. Never
No,
mind.
it's like
Funny.
it's like the BB guns that like you give like
Well,
With the orange
6-year-olds.
cap on the tip. Yeah. Okay.
the orange cap on. That would suck.
The barrel.
Yeah.
On the end of the barrel that has the entire orange tip.
That'd suck. Be like, hey, guy, I don't like you here. Here's your gun.
Yeah. Thanks for enlisting. Here you go.
No.
No, but a lot of these older guns did end up in the Afghanistan war because these companies got a hold of them and just had them lying around, and the people there wanted them, so they'd buy them and sell them for really cheap.
What's that movie? There's actually a couple movies. But the one I'm thinking of has, can't think of his name. He's in Superbad. That chunky kid.
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Where I can't remember who was with them in that movie, but they were like,
Uh-huh.
like they just go around and buy big gun or big shipments of guns, and there's
Yeah.
like old stuff, and they just go around and resell it.
Yeah, it was called
Did
War Dogs,
Nicolas
and it's based on a
Cage
real
have
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage
Cage does
had a
have one as
similar-
well.
But
Yeah,
it was like
that was
mostly
good
AK
movie.
imports, whatnot.
Yeah, but yeah, War Dogs. I love that movie. I love it. It was based on some real
There's that
people.
one part. There was that one part where they goes and tries some buy some weed.
Yeah, and he pulls out the MP5.
That thing. Yeah, that cracks me up.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Could I backtrack a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you mentioned, okay, martini, that's British, right?
Yeah.
So you said that they were used in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
Was this the kind of era it was more common for Afghanistan? I don't know exactly, but remember the British kind of went overseas and they kind of not
Oh
ruled, but
yeah, the like
enforced those
colonialism.
areas. Yeah.
Yeah, the British colonies.
Was Afghanistan like right next door, or is that why it was easy for them to get martinis?
Possibly. I don't know exactly where the British colonies were. I know where one is that comes off the top of my head, and it wasn't even. I don't even think it was British. I think it was just colonies like that. But it's possible that there was British colonies down there, and those guns just ended up staying down there.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Like that makes a lot of sense if why Middle Eastern had those.
Yeah,
real
over here in the
reasons
service history
for
of
those
it,
British.
it says it was used in the British Colonial War. So yeah, I would guarantee you that's exactly what happened.
Look at me, I'm being smarts.
What in the world? I don't know what the conversion rate on this is, but apparently in the 1880s, the cost of this gun was $2.10.
I bet.
So they were cheap.
That's how old that gun is.
Yeah, the 1880s.
Oh, just before. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Thanks a lot for that.
I'm so sorry. I'm guessing that's just right before the Cowboys ended. You know, like the.
Yeah, it was around the same time. Yeah.
Era, just 20 years
Actually,
before.
Let me double check. So
Billy
yeah,
was
1871. So it was that's when it was made. It was a little before the Cowboys.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know
remembered.
why that.
How much is that weapon changed since that time, or has it been the same exact?
It's the same gun. They haven't done anything to it.
Like none of the mechanics, nothing has changed.
No, like
I'm
this
guessing
gun
maybe
is its own thing.
Barrel length and barrel widths for new calibers, right? That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I take that back. Logan's right. They did. There was several versions of the gun itself, and that would have to deal with. That would have to deal with like changing the barrels out and changing the chambers out, but that would all be like one thing basically. So yeah, the barrels and chambers changed a bunch, but the rest of it didn't.
That's crazy.
The only reason why I mention that is because I almost glad I didn't, but I almost bought a black powdered version of the martini.
You should have. You would have never been able to fire
it. It was in a fire. Yeah, it was in a fire.
Well,
so
we could
it
have.
would be just wall decoration. I was like, maybe not for 1,200.
Well, we could have touched it up, but it would definitely be. Is it really that much?
It was up there. It was a good 1,000.
Yeah.
Plus tax.
So you want to hear what that gun would have cost to produce in today's money?
What?
So their money back then, it was $2. Well, £2.10. In today's money, U.S. dollars, it would have been $42 to make.
Oh,
A $42 gun. That's it. That's even cheaper
they're
than
still
grease
producing
guns.
it?
No.
Reproduction. Oh, I thought reproduction.
Maybe. Let me look it up. I'm not sure about reproductions.
The only reason why I mention reproduction is because you can buy newer guns with newer companies like the Lamat. You can get reproduction with Lamats.
Yeah, you can get a lot of reproductions, but
And if you're a very skilled gunsmith, I'm sure you can build one yourself.
I see some, but they're not. Yeah, see, this is an article. I see like one, but it doesn't look like an actual Martini Henry. It looks somewhat similar, and it's $2,000,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even look like a
I'm gonna-
Martini Henry.
How does the action work on that? Is it like lever action or just breakaway or?
It's called
So-
falling block.
Yeah. So how does that
So
work?
you have a rifle, right? Imagine a rifle in your hand. So
Yeah.
you have the trigger and the trigger guard, but right below the trigger, I think it's either the trigger guard itself. You push down on that, which is like a little, not similar to a lever, but not quite. It's a different style. And when you push that down, it drops
The breech.
what do you call that? The breech down, so it'll kind of go at an angle down, and it'll show the barrel itself from that angle, and you shove the bullet in there, and then you lift the breech back up. It closes it, and then you cock. It has a hammer, right? Is it a hammer?
I don't see a
You have to
hammer
cock the
on
hammer
it, so
itself?
I don't see a hammer. There might be
Oh,
one,
okay, I
but
might be thinking. But and that's it. And
yeah, no, you don't have to. It cocks itself.
So it's basically the opposite of like a breakaway shotgun, right?
Well, like I mentioned, was the 1887 shotgun,
Yeah,
the Winchester ones?
yeah, they're similar.
Where you I'm only saying it because when you pull the lever down, the little breech on the top goes down, and then you load several rounds into the tube itself, and not the barrel, but the tube.
Mhm.
And then
So
cycle it.
yeah, so think of it as like a bolt action, right? You know how bolt action operates. So imagine that bolt face, instead of going backwards towards the shooter, that bolt face goes down into the gun.
Oh,
And then
I
you
just found
put the bullet in and you bring it back up. You see what I'm saying?
I just found a. Well, Oli, I have this
different-
catalog. Oh, sorry.
It's crazy to me that all the different like ways of making a gun function.
Yeah.
Like you can take the simplest, which to me, like a Derringer, I don't know a whole lot. Is pretty simple. But how you can take that simple and kind of make it a little bit complicated, and just the different ways of doing all of it is just insane to me.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned like how that is, there was a guy who made a gun out of a stick, a barrel, and you would just hit it like a rock on it, and it'll fire a projectile. It's not
Yeah.
quite a gun. It's like a gun.
It's
What was it from a video game, and someone converted it into real life?
it might
was
be
it?
the
Real
opposite
life.
way around, but yeah, he took a shell casing, a big one, and strapped it inside some wood, and then basically used it like a muzzleloader. But put a flash hole in the back of the casing, so you'd smack it, and it'd set it off.
Do you guys remember that shooting in? I think it was in Japan, and
Hmm.
I want to say within the past year.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You seen that weapon, right? I mean, there was just
Yeah, it used
glimpses of it.
yeah, it used electricity to actually fire the gun.
So,
A real gun?
like, that's,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool how he made
No.
it.
It was a shotgun, technically.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
But
saying
it,
no.
it was,
Yeah, I was saying that to you.
oh yeah, yeah. It was pretty cool how he made it, but to me, it's like pretty damn complicated. I mean, I guess they're Japanese. So I guess
Well, yeah, I was like, the thing about that is that they they didn't have access to anything that would allow them to do that, so they don't have access to like a trigger. So he had to find a different
Yeah,
way
but
of doing it.
He made powder.
Uh huh.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just thought it was funny how he designed it. Electronically based gun.
Mhm.
Um, when you could, there's simpler versions like the muzzle loader. You just took a
Yeah,
lighter.
it was a muzzle loader then, though.
Yeah,
His design was actually pretty simple. I don't know how like wiring and electronics work, but it's pretty simple. I mean, he pressed a button and it heated up a wire which was touching the gunpowder inside. That's all it was.
All you really need is a 9-volt battery. Well, I don't know how hot the powder has to get before it ignites.
Yeah.
I mean, if you line them up in a series or something, I don't know. But I just thought it was kind of funny how he built it. To where, like, I mean, a muzzle loader, you put powder in a bullet and light it with a match or stone.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely could have done it that way.
That was funny to me.
But also,
It's so interesting.
yeah, remember, he was using it for an assassination attempt. So if he would have had to like walk up there and light a match and hold it to the gun, it would have taken a lot more attention to him and a lot more. Obviously, he got a lot of attention to him, but some guy like lighting a match in the middle of a crowd and has this thing in his hand, then you're kind of like, okay, what's this guy doing? Instead of him having it like under a coat and he pulls it out and presses the button.
Yeah. Well, and I think the best part of the whole thing, it's not really a good thing, but
yeah,
a country that doesn't allow people to have weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We'll get creative.
Yeah, they will get creative. And actually, that reminds me of I was listening to a podcast today, listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had a woman on there that is a North Korean defect. So she escaped North Korea when she was like 13, and she brought up the fact that what was she saying? She brought up the Second Amendment and how she was for the Second Amendment. She was saying that like you keep seeing these countries that have the possibility to revolt and overthrow the government, but they don't have any firearms, so they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything, if she's literally from North Korea and she's telling you that we should probably have firearms, then I don't know what else would tell you, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I mean, you can get pretty deep with that, but
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
and this is not.
I mean, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep on accidentally cutting you guys off. I'm real bad about that.
You're fine.
This is North Korea, and then you go not next door, but China, and they're training their youth to know how to take guns apart. And
Are they?
I'm not from China, so I can't exactly. Just videos I find, but it was like a school, a youth. I don't know, maybe no older than what's Cooper age?
Like
7, 8,
9.
8, 9.
I don't know if it's
Are you sure
there.
it was
I don't
China?
know. It might have not been.
It could be definitely be a different Asian country. I don't think it's China.
It could definitely. I couldn't tell you for sure, but it was some country, Asia, of some sort. And it showed a video of them literally all holding some type of simple semi-auto handgun. I don't know, but they're all taken apart and reassembled. And I don't know the source. I don't know if it's true or not.
Could be fake.
Crazy. It could have been fake, but I mean, like, the fact that some countries might be able to do that. Something
They're
interesting, I guess.
They're teaching the kids that young.
Yeah, it personally, I mean, it could be for a bad thing too. They could be training them, getting used to like that, and then going into the military and fighting for a bad government. But it is interesting and cool.
I was just kind of referencing it because, like, I can't remember what country it was, but they're forced to do military service for a little bit.
A lot of countries are like that.
Boot camp.
Yeah,
or
I think
whatever. But it's just
Japan or
doing that
China.
so young. If that is true, if they're doing it so young, it's a little
Yeah,
different.
actually,
Different.
I'm fairly sure it's Sweden. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sweden. They have excuse me. Um, gun ownership. Okay, yeah, it's Sweden. They have mandatory um, military service, but also they have they are one of the countries with the highest like gun per person per capita in the world, even next to America. And it's they have like 90%, if not more, um, or if not less, sorry, 90%, if not less, crime than we do with firearms. And it all comes down to training, because all of them have mandatory military service,
Oh yeah.
and then also firearms are such a big part of their culture that they're insistent on training as well. And it
Very good
Well,
idea.
yeah, it's just a very good example of, hey, it's not guns, it's training.
Right.
yeah,
It's
absolutely, absolutely. Like, I mean, definitely military wise, but being exposed to it and having that knowledge. I mean, we have the weapons, and we constantly fight
Oh,
people that don't know the weapons, and they're like this and that and the other. Um, but I think, like you were saying, having that mandatory military experience. Um,
it's I want to correct myself. It's actually Switzerland. It looks like,
oh,
not
but
Sweden.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
having that experience with it, the knowledge, the training. It's it's not the weapon, it's the training.
yeah. It's
well,
one out of every four people in Switzerland have a gun, which is incredibly
I.
high for a country other than America.
It's
What's
pretty
in
small
America?
though.
Let me look it up.
It's in like 100 per 10 household.
I think it's like two per person
Oh, sorry.
or
I'm
some
like,
shit like
so
that.
I'm
It's
like four
yeah.
people. I do want to say what Emilio was kind of adding on or going on was like I kind of forgot, but like how we should train people to at least know the knowledge of it is because we're human. We always have a weapon. It always evolves, because what was it, like your guys' last podcast episode about guns? You were talking about a simple, like a bow, and then it goes into a flintlock, and the
Yeah.
flintlock goes into it. Like it's always going to evolve. Guns are always going to be a part of, well, not necessarily everyone's life, but guns are always going to be a thing.
Yeah, they will be.
So it's always good to have some form of knowledge of how it works. And Switzerland, is that correct?
Yeah, Switzerland.
I feel like that's a great example of what it should.
Yeah, so they actually. I'm looking at this list and I don't know why, but it's all the way like down here at the bottom or something like that. It's not even showing up. So I don't know how credible this list is, but it's saying that there's 120 guns per 100 people in America.
Jeez.
So like
Is that big?
one
I'm not quite sure.
1.3 or something like that. Oh, look right here. Per 100 people in Switzerland, there's 27 guns.
Is Switzerland big? I mean, if you kind of
It's
think about
pretty
it,
big.
fairly big. Okay.
Yeah, they have estimate
pretty
of
big.
firearms in civilian possession. Apparently, there's 2 million firearms in their possession of civilian.
That's a good amount.
Yeah,
Is that including the
I
military
bet
service?
I bet Idaho has 2 million.
no,
guns.
that's civilians.
Probably.
Oh, probably.
So,
Oh, look at this. They have what? How do they get this number? Okay, so out of 2 million, what is this? 2 million estimate of firearms in civilian possession. So 2 million firearms that civilians own in Switzerland. 791 are registered, and 1.5 million are unregistered.
I would assume that's like very
Yeah.
old guns that don't even have serial numbers.
Maybe.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah, it's possible because they are pretty heavy on their their gun stuff.
right? And they were involved.
Yeah, but an example of how well they are trained is that they are notorious for having shooting range that spans across the highway.
Oh, I've seen that. That's
Yeah.
super
Well,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't get
Yeah,
away with
very-
that in the
It's a
States.
sport there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
If you did that here, people would shoot at the cars. No doubt about it. Not only for negligence, but also just being idiots.
Yeah.
I don't blame. I seen a guy shoot towards the river where we normally go shooting. There's that highway right there.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like even you're shooting at the water, well, that bullet will still have a chance to ricochet.
Oh, it
up.
most likely will.
And and you got oncoming traffic going that way. I mean, sure, it's kind of up a mountain a little bit, but I mean, that's still what's that word again? You guys say it all the time. Yeah,
Negligent.
that one.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce my words half the time.
That's all good.
So if you look across that river and into that area that you're talking about, one, you're shooting at vehicles if you're shooting that direction. But there's a couple fishing spots over there, and if you're not really paying attention, you won't see them. And people are camped out there, especially during summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's just another example of not a lot of people have common sense.
It's just training, man. It's just flat out just training.
It really is. I mean, yeah.
I don't know what it is about training,
That,
but it is just training. It really, like I said, I don't actually know what it is, but something about giving people training makes them less likely to commit crimes with those firearms. It could just as easily be like, oh, I'm trained on this gun. Let me go and kill people with it because I'm so trained, but that doesn't ever happen.
Right.
just responsible people.
Yeah.
Switzerland, it's
I
like
think
if
that's
I,
what it has to do.
it's like I don't think I would ever want to rob someone in Switzerland, especially since half of them are service to the military.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they carry on their persons. I think they just own them.
Oh, okay, so like,
Yeah, like in their gun safe
Okay,
or
I see
something,
what
and they bring them out to shoot.
right. Which is probably the
I
best
think
way.
I've
Is the
seen a
best way.
thing about Idaho and how many people carry Idaho.
Let me see.
It might have been something you sent me, Oi.
Let's see.
And I mean, I know Idaho is pretty. Well, anyway, I think it's like 1 in 10.
60% of Idaho adults have guns at home. Oh, that's not what I wanted to. I wanted to see how many carry on them.
So I don't know if it was Joe Rogan or there's a podcast. I don't know if it was one you sent me or I'm sure it was, but I think it was 1 in 10 in Idaho carry. So if you go to a restaurant, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 guys or more, or women or people that carry. And if they're carrying concealed, they're trained.
Right.
So
I,
you combine that with the crime. I mean, like I'm not gonna go rob anything that. Well, there's possibly gonna be 3 people with a weapon that are trained. It makes sense.
There's this article that I found, and this I flat out do not even remotely believe it. Where did I just find it? Oh my! Of course I lost it.
Do I have time? Okay, I have time.
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
So, adding on Emilio's thought, where you're saying, like, you don't want to go rob something, right? A store, a restaurant, or whatever. I've seen a video of this guy, I want to say maybe early 20s, young kid. He goes and robs a restaurant. This isn't Idaho. I don't think it was Idaho. But he goes, robs a restaurant. He thinks he's getting away with it. He about to walk out the door. The guy that was sitting at the booth just unloads on the guy as soon as he turned around, and it was concealed carry.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a little not frustrating. I can't say anything. I wasn't there, but the guy shot him multiple times, and while he was on the ground, I think you probably assume that he's dead at this point.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
he shot standing up, and
so
then he went down and oh, you know which video I'm talking about?
yeah, I've
Yeah, I
seen
think
plenty
that
of
was
like
Texas.
that. Yeah, it was probably in
Oh,
Texas.
like a couple more
So
shots.
yeah, I have a few things to say about that and some other stuff. I found it right here, but so I'm gonna go over this and then touch that again. But this article, which I don't believe it because there's one right above it that states differently, but it says Idaho lacks foundational gun safety laws and has the 17th highest rate of gun deaths in the country. There is no way that's true. No way. 17th out of 50 states? There's no shot that many people kill people here in Idaho with guns.
Oh, I was thinking of like accidental suicide.
No, well, that it's possible, and that's probably where they
I-
got their information from, but I'm not going to read it cuz I don't want to feed into them and get their ads.
I just say that accidental suicide as a factor into it.
Yeah,
because,
suicide
you
and
had a
negligent
neighbor kid that
discharge.
done that.
Yeah. So, and then once again,
Still,
right
though,
above
I don't know. That number seems pretty.
yeah,
fucking high
it seems yeah.
because, I mean, Idaho, and I know people are gonna have issues with this, but I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I doubt that Idaho has that.
Yeah, no. And
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
even
here's
negligent and
yeah.
and
Even
accidental. I fucking doubt it.
Yeah, a 17th. There's no doubt about it. That's a wrong number because right above it is Idaho ranks 41st in national mass shooting events, so they're incredibly lower on mass shootings, but somehow they're the 17th highest rate of gun deaths. Like that doesn't match up when there's
That number seems wrong too.
yeah they both seem. How many mass shootings have you
20
seen in the
mass-
past 20 years
I
in
think
Idaho?
The only one I heard of was that mall shooting, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it was
I don't even think it was
Say no.
technically a mass shooting. I think it was like
right.
3 people injured or
One
something like that.
person?
Yeah,
Oh, one person?
if that.
I think
Oh, one. I don't know.
I think he injured one.
Oh.
And injured a cop, and they shot him. I think.
Yes, a civilian that was carrying had shot the guy
Oh yeah.
like twice
He
at
was in a
40 yards.
restaurant.
At 40 yards. It was in the mall.
He was in the restaurant right there by the mall.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to look up on it again before I say stuff because I don't want to
Is
speak
this
wrong
the
stuff.
one guy who was people seen a video about it and they're saying like he's a very good shot because like you said it was 40
Yeah, wait, was that? I might be thinking of someone
That was
else.
someone else.
Yeah.
I think that's because I was just talking to Alexis about it because we were just at the mall and I mentioned that
Yeah.
and I was like I don't remember if it was that video or someone else.
No, so the Boise one,
Hmm.
he shot at someone, and I believe they were upstairs, and I think he injured them, took off, and the cops ran into him right there by a restaurant, by the mall. I think he caught the cop off guard.
Hmm.
And actually, well, I'm not. So he caught the cop off guard, and I think that cop took a bullet to his chest or something like that. I know he survived, but put him out of the fight. And then I believe somebody in the restaurant that was right there. And I don't know, did they kill him or not?
I don't know. I remember hearing about that, but I didn't pay attention to it for some reason. Yeah.
But the one you're talking about, Logan, that one was.
Yeah, I was thinking of.
like somewhere back east
Yeah, I was thinking of.
somewhere.
I
Like
can't.
The guy pulled out an AR and
He assembled
other
it in the
guy-
bathroom.
Was it two
Yep,
shots?
yep.
No, it was. I found the article. So the one I was thinking of, was my bad. I can't figure out where it was at, but it was Elijah Dickin, and there was a shooter that had built a rifle in the bathroom that he carried in a backpack, and he shot 10 rounds at 40 yards, 8 of them connected with the target. which is incredible
Not-
accuracy.
Not the active shooter.
The hero, right?
The hero shot.
Yeah, the hero shot. Yes, yeah. Elijah
Shot
Dickin.
8 times
He
accurately.
he shot 10 rounds at 40 feet. 8 of them hit the mass shooter or the attempted
That's
shooting
like the
threat.
entire mag, if it's not extended too.
Yeah,
Was it?
I
Does
don't
it
know.
say what?
I think I could
I
look
was
it up.
gonna say like majority of them are what 9 rounds and 1 in chamber.
He had a Glock
Yeah.
19, so he had 18 rounds.
Oh, okay. He had
Yeah.
He had 8 more rounds.
But
He's
that's still
all
good
over
trigger
the
discipline because he shot 10 instead of the entire mag.
Well, just imagine that guy just going down. He's still making connections like that.
Yeah. Oh, and then anyway, let's go back to what you were saying, Logan. I had taken a concealed carry class recently, and the thing they stated was shoot until the force has been eliminated. So
like you just know 100%.
yes, so they come at you, or you decide, hey, this is the moment I'm gonna pull my gun and shoot. It doesn't. I mean, it could be they're killing you or aiming a gun at you or shooting somebody else. Blah blah blah. You pull out the gun, you shoot until the threat is eliminated. So if they drop and they're still reaching for the gun, you still shoot them because they're still a threat.
Okay.
They're still a threat until they stop either reaching for the gun or until they're not a threat anymore, which either means dead or incapacitated in some way.
Right. All right.
Stopping the threat is what
Yes, stopping the
That's
threat.
just the main deal. Okay, I didn't know that. So, but it's just like
But it could just that guy could have just been doing it out of pure adrenaline because he's scared,
That's true.
so he puts more rounds into it just in case. But you're not. If you know it's stopped, then you shouldn't shoot anymore.
I don't know about you guys. I used to watch a lot of them, and I've seen guys take bullets in those videos and
And they'll walk it
still
off.
pull their weapon up. Yeah, like
No.
sometimes
Yeah.
it seems excessive, but you add
Yeah,
in drugs and alcohol and
Yeah.
all that, like that 1 or 2 shots may not even they might not even feel it.
Yeah, especially with
So,
drugs. I saw one guy.
Shoot to stop is what it is.
Yeah, I saw one guy, and it was like this homeless man. It was pretty sad because you could tell he was a vet. You could tell he was on some sort of drugs, and he was just having a bad day, right? And he starts attacking this female police officer, and she's like, "I'm gonna shoot you if you don't stop." He doesn't stop. She pulls her gun, smacks him right in the heart, like literally in the heart, and it's like 2, maybe 3 shots or something like that. And he still walks towards her for another 30 seconds before he turns around and then falls over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
In the
you sent me
heart.
a
That's supposed to,
video.
like, stop it instantaneously. What were you saying, Logan? A video?
I was going to say, you sent me a video of the boar hunting, and that guy shot him like
Oh, yeah.
right. The boar got back up. We're like,
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know what I said that, but it was like it was crazy.
yeah.
It was
This, he's boar hunting, and boars are notorious for being just awful
They're
animals.
bulky.
They're big, they're beefy, they destroy a lot of stuff. They shouldn't be there. They're invasive. Blah blah blah. So the hunting them is a good idea technically. And but this boar is coming up to him, this wild boar, and he shoots it with this rifle, and it falls down, and it's like dead. 2 seconds later, it gets right back up. It stands back up and comes at him again, and he pops it again, and then it dies. But it was just like, what? It got back up.
I had a Minecraft totem.
Yeah,
That's
the
all I had.
totem of undying.
Yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just and it's just you can probably factor in that boar is probably addicted to adrenaline. It had a lot of adrenaline.
that boar was on meth.
It was, no, I'm just saying like you guys are saying adrenaline.
Yeah,
can also
adrenaline.
affect Your
Well,
capability of
Yeah,
that stuff.
capability.
It was obviously having something going on because it was being chased by was it hounds or something, or was it just running?
Yeah,
It was being
I
hunted.
can't remember.
But it was crazy because it was down for a good 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And got back up. The
I've
guy was
been
not ready for it.
and not to get too much into it, but I've been in situations where I'm having to deal with people, one either on drugs and adrenaline, or just adrenaline itself, and it is super, super crazy what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, adrenaline itself is insane, but you add drugs to it, like you, it's insane the pain, which they don't feel it.
Yeah, it just shuts off.
Yeah, they don't feel it at all. So it either has to be super extreme or it's just, I mean, it's insane the stuff they can go through when they're on drugs.
Yeah, adrenaline is an insane chemical that our body produces. Like, the fact that you can literally take life-ending injuries and just kind of like walk it off for a bit, and your body's just okay with it for a while. It's like, what? That's something we can do? Yeah, that's something our bodies can do, and then eventually it does turn off, but it's crazy.
I was on a note for adrenaline. I was watching this YouTuber. He was telling a story. He was a kid messing around with his buddy on the side of a cliff. He doesn't say exactly the full meter of the cliff. He just says he fell off the cliff. The only thing that saved him was like a couple of tree branches that broke his fall. So when he hit on the ground, he was fine. He gets up, brushes it off, and then his buddy comes running down. He's like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong?" He's like, I just want to get ice cream. So they go get ice cream. And when he's eating his ice cream, he said the adrenaline just finally stopped, and I just started breaking down and crying.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
adrenaline's crazy.
How he was explaining the cliff, it was like it had been pretty good length if he had to land on a couple of trees down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
pretty tall.
Well,
didn't break anything or anything like that. He said.
Wow.
It's crazy. I've been not like that, but I've been there, and like the adrenaline will take you for a ride, and when it does wear off, it is something else. Like
it's basically a drug. I mean, that your body produces.
Yeah. Well, and once it's gone, it like your mind starts going back to the incident or the injury or whatever, and it's pretty. Like I said, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about people just like blacking out due to adrenaline, and they come back to it, and it's just like they don't even really know what happened. Oh, this is another thing that we were taught in the concealed carry class, is that after an event, you shouldn't say what happened, or you shouldn't try to recollect. I mean, you should, incident's over, check yourself, make sure you're okay, make sure everybody else is okay, blah, blah, blah. But once you're done, they say the police will start asking questions, and even as a police officer, you shouldn't do this. You should not tell them what happened at that moment, because the adrenaline and anxiety and stuff like that is still running through your body. So there's literally times where people will blank out an entire spot of it and just go, well, I think this happened. But in reality, it didn't. So they say, like, you take, like, 3 days to sit on it and wait, and in 3 days you can tell the story, and your mind is more likely to see things how it actually played out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
That's insane.
In this day and age, too, also with everything recorded and all the legal bullshit, if you took a statement and you're still on adrenaline, I mean, like you said, you say something that you don't really know happened. You might have thought it happened.
Yeah.
Or you're putting bits and pieces together, but they might be mixed up. And like I said, nowadays with all the legal bullshit, that could really hurt you in court.
Yeah, it very much could.
Or they can make it like, hey, you did whatever, da 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 da. So yeah, absolutely. And luckily, there's a lot of studies and stuff now that like, okay, now we need to step back and give them time to cycle through it or whatnot. But that's a little bit of what I mean. I know more, but it's just a little bit
Yeah,
because I've experienced it.
yeah. That's they brought that up as well. They're saying is that a lot of people in the media will give police departments flack for giving
Hmm.
police officers like leave after an incident, but I mean in reality it's to better help the situation 99%
Oh
of the time, because
yeah.
if
Yep.
you give them that 3 days to a week or whatever, they can properly recall exactly what happened.
Yep.
And I mean
It,
that
yeah.
comes back to training, because I mean if you have the proper training, then it should be. I can't remember the words exactly. I remember the second part, which is the most important, but it's not to do. It's like I said, I don't remember the first part. Like it's don't do this, but fall back on your training. Because once you go back into your training, things are gonna likely ride out smoothly, and you do them properly because your body's used to it.
Hmm.
It's muscle
It's
memory
like
rather
muscle
than
memory.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
muscle memory rather than your thought process. So, like I
And
said, I
that's
can't
what
remember the
you
first
need.
part, but it's the part I remember is fall back on your training. Rely like rely on the training, not what your brain is telling you. Obviously, the
And
brain what the brain tells you is important, but fall back on the
yeah.
training.
Well, and like again, back to my training, we don't have enough training to have muscle memory,
Mm.
but to fall back on training is and it's. I mean, I know
Seems
officers
different.
like police officers, they do a lot of like physical training
Yeah,
um, to get that muscle memory, and that's so much better for them than what I went through. And basically, what I went through is, um, this is how you should do it. Um, so it was more mind like memory um, kind of training, but
yeah,
training period, just fall back on your training.
yeah. Fall back on
If
it.
you don't have anything,
Get
get a
training.
little bit.
Yeah, get
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 a little
training.
bit.
Yeah,
Uh, you need the training because it takes, like you're saying, it takes time to get muscle memory. I mean, if that drilling situation is running,
Mhm.
is kind of gonna
yeah. Your mind's gonna get all
it,
foggy.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then that's when muscle memory happens, and that's what you need.
and that's muscle memory is a huge thing. Like for me personally, I do a lot of the movements. Like I don't have the gun on me. I mean, I should do a little more dry fire and regular practice as well, but I do a lot of the movements with my arms without the firearm on me. So I lift up my shirt, go to where exactly I want that holster to be at, and mimic the movement of me pulling the gun and drawing. And I do that a lot on my own, just randomly.
Just don't do
And
it in front of a cop.
well, no duh. But in my house. But that's what I do, and it really did help because I took that concealed carry class, and they were like, "Wow, you really got this down. Like you know what you're doing." And I was like, "Yeah, I train just a little bit. Any training that I can do on my own, I do." So you don't even
Well,
have to
just
have ammunition
being
for it.
responsible.
Yeah, you don't even have to have
That's
ammo
true.
for it. You
A
just go for
responsible
it.
gun owner is.
Training.
I mean, you have a weapon that can kill. So uh, being responsible with it and knowing how it functions and knowing, you know, hey, if I point it at somebody and bumps or whatever. And I mean, that usually doesn't take a bump to fire
Yeah,
one,
no.
but yeah, just stuff happens. So if you're responsible and you train yourself with that firearm, always point it to the ground or away from people or know
Yeah.
when your backstop is.
I
That I
would.
mean,
Oh,
having that kind of uh, weapon that can take a life, and you're not willing to train yourself just a little bit or more than a little bit, to be okay. I'm okay with going out in the streets with this. And
Yeah, carrying a
not
loaded
concerned
firearm.
that I might kill
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
I would say a firearm or any type of weapon.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to use it, it's more unsafe. It's
Yeah.
more dangerous.
Yeah, more
You
deadly.
don't know how to
yeah.
use it. And
Oh.
there's some cases, I'm sure you can find hundreds of cases where they made situations much worse because they don't know how to use it or they didn't use it properly.
Yeah, where they don't have enough training.
I would say don't buy a gun if you're just going to let it sit and collect dust under
Yeah.
your bedstand. You need to buy a gun. You need to use it, train with it, muscle memory,
Mhm.
and run scenarios, even like in your house. You know, in case of a home invasion, don't just buy a gun and leave it in your nightstand. Buy the gun, do scenarios around your house safely, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't load
Never
it.
loaded.
Never have it, or, well, you know what I'm saying. But,
Well, and
you know.
I think you could do that kind of training without the weapon.
Yeah, you
Yeah, of
can.
course.
Just
Use a
simulate it
stick.
with, with your fingers or whatnot. Just walk through and be like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. If
That's
somebody breaches the front door or the back door or window or
right. That's a perfect saying because there's there's some country, I can't remember where he's from, but he can't have guns there in his country, but he would do airsoft tournaments, right?
Mhm.
Same thing. He done training whatever for years, and he's very good at that airsoft because people get very competitive in those sports.
Yeah.
And he never shot a gun until he came to America for a show, some YouTuber, and he got the guy that never shot a gun but played with those airsoft to do drills and everything, and this guy was just amazing, accurate.
Yeah,
Just
he was pretty good quality. He was very good at it.
very good. And all he did airsoft tournaments and stuff like that. So you can even
Yeah,
train
they-
with
Still the
airsoft
same-
videos
it's-
such as
It's
it's still the same safety procedures.
Yep.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
follow everything.
airsoft's
It's like
not gonna kill somebody, but you shoot somebody's eye out, or it's still the same function. Keep your finger off the trigger.
yeah,
Don't be a dumbass.
Yep.
and it's really good. It is really good training. They've kind of, as we're looking into how airsoft, like mil sims, with military simulations and all these different things that they do with airsoft can translate over to guns. It's actually very, very good training. It's not perfect because the perfect ideal one is to train with real guns, but if that's as close as you can get, do it. It's fantastic. It's really good at it.
country where you can't have guns and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they have tournaments. It's also great for that.
They do some pretty cool stuff.
I mean, have you seen those paintball videos where they just like bump fire the crap out of those things
Yeah.
and load it in the same time? You can bump fire some firearms.
Yeah, paintball is a different.
It
Paintball's a
is,
way different
but-
thing than airsoft. Airsoft, they take it more in like a real life kind of aspect, whereas paintball, they do a lot of just paintball to have fun.
But, I mean, it is pretty cool watching those videos.
Yeah.
The guys just bump firing it.
I disagree.
I mean, you can make it really well and you can make it really good, but
I went to
a lot of these
tournament in
professional
Utah.
ones, they don't. Yeah.
I went to a tournament in Utah. Paintball tournament. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yeah, I think you told me. I think I know where you're going with this one. You brought in like some realish tactics, and you smoked the other guys quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
so it's
fun.
different, right?
It
never played.
is different. I get what Ollie's saying about airsoft.
yeah,
Airsoft. I mean, you have a lot more rounds that you can carry. And
You got like
paintball's. I mean, paintball's, I guess,
It-
pretty much outdated nowadays. But with airsoft,
just a little bit.
it's still a blast.
Oh, I
Don't
bet.
take it away from me, Ollie.
No, I'm not gonna take it away from you as like a fun time, but as a training tool, I wouldn't go the route of paintball. I'd go the route of airsoft.
Never did screening to me, and I was confused. I was like,
Oh,
it's
no,
fun. It looks fun.
No, yeah, airsoft. I would love to do airsoft, but it
Yeah,
is pretty
okay.
expensive as well.
It is those if you get a good quality
Yeah.
rifle, it's up there. I've
Yeah,
seen.
the thing I like about airsoft is that they have so much stuff that mimics the real gear, or if not, a lot of people do wear the real gear, but their fire, like the
My
actual airsoft guns, mimic real life guns, and that allows you to train even better.
my buddy spent a ton of money and airsoft stuff, and the amount of money he spent, he could have bought an AR
Yeah,
and
exactly.
more stuff for it.
Yeah.
But you do get that training. You get that real life. I mean, you're not obviously thinking, okay, I'm gonna die.
I mean, you
But
could trick yourself into thinking that, and that'd be a
yeah,
good
I mean,
training.
I
but
think he
it, I
means just
mean,
like it's better than
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
like, going out and actually fighting people with real guns.
yeah.
yeah.
Like, I don't think you want to do that in a real life
Join the
situation.
military.
Like, you have the military. Exactly. Like, just join the army. They'll get you set up
Well,
for that, I guess.
and like the amount of money he put into his stuff, and I kept telling him, like, dude, what was wrong with your gun when you first got it? It was like a $150 gun. But like he went and he put like $1,200. I'm like, dude,
Ooh.
come on.
Yeah, you could have bought a whole
Yeah,
a
like
whole
you could
kit for that.
seriously go buy an AR. I mean, obviously you can't go shoot it at people, but
Well,
a
that's the
$150 gun.
yeah, that's the
And
thing is
go have fun and without even really thinking about it, you're having fun and you're getting training. You're like, oh, what do I do in this situation? Like $1,200? That's ridiculous.
yeah, and that's where I would go the route of if you're gonna get gear, buy real gear, like real plate carriers, real armor, real helmets, that kind of thing, and then just buy your airsoft gun. That way you get the training with the equipment and the proper equipment, and you know it's gonna work, but you also get the training with the gun without having to actually go out and fire real guns.
Yeah. I think we should get into it a
I
little bit.
really want to. I might do this rifle class soon because I want to get some rifle training under me, and I've been really thinking about possibly working towards getting trained enough to do my own training. So like teaching other people how to do it
There you
properly.
go.
Yeah, I've been really leaning towards that, but I need to get myself trained a lot more than I am right now.
Well, I think we should get Logan out in the woods and hunt him down.
That's messed up.
Don't worry, Logan. I'll protect you.
Oh, thank you. I
No, but yeah,
I'll be a bear.
I think
Oh,
once I have the money available, I'm definitely gonna invest in getting the kit. So, not a helmet.
airsoft?
No, like an actual real kit, like body armor, like the
Oh,
plates and the kit and the mags and the mag holders and blah 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 stuff like that. I don't know how much helmets cost, so helmets are gonna be on the back list.
I got a
But
Dog Boy helmet. Same thing.
I guess that'll work. But
I mean, like
It'll
you
be
have
like-
something kinda,
it's about $500 to get a kit set up, which in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much money, because that's two plates, the plate carrier itself, and to get your like mag pouches, it's around $500. So it's not that. I mean, obviously $500 is a lot of money, but it's a lot more doable than spending, $2,000 on a gun.
I think you sent me a podcast with a little clip of it, and the guy's like, when he was in war, he's like, you never
Mhm.
anything under 13 mags.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was you that sent me that, right?
I don't know if I might have sent it to you. I don't remember sending it to you, but I've definitely seen exactly what you're talking about. He's a
Well, and-
Marine or an ex-Marine.
Yeah. With a badass fucking beard.
Yeah, he does have a good beard.
But I've actually thought about that previous to that. Like, I need a vest. I mean, having the weapon to go into battle is cool, but not having the rounds on me and the protection,
Yeah.
and also the physical ability to carry that much weight.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is training your body.
Cardio.
Yeah.
I say get 2 drum mags.
Nah, drum mags suck.
What? They're great.
No, if you really take a step back,
Well,
they
maybe
suck
not
balls.
Tactical, not tactical.
Hmm.
Aspect.
That's why I'm gonna go with the oh, I can't even remember the gun. Damn it! The one you were working on the other day, the 22 that holds 32 rounds.
Oh, that one didn't hold 33, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. That it's a Kel-Tec.
Caltech.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
But-
the one you sent me, and I said it's like a mixture
Yeah.
of MP7.
Yeah, it looked a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what I'm gonna carry around because I can carry like 10,000 rounds.
yeah, so check this out, right? So you can get a plate carrier and 2 level 3 plates with the protective coating on them for $800, which that's a lot. But you get these plates that'll last you forever, and they're maximum protection because they're coated, so they catch all the shrapnel that comes off of the rounds from hitting the steel. So no shrapnel will hit your arms.
Can't see your
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, I didn't have the stream, but or the stream
Oh.
up, but I mean you
I
can
gotta
get one. There's one for
imagine it.
290. Yeah, there's one for 290, but it's lower armor rating and it doesn't have the coating on it.
I'm gonna
I
be
just
that
say,
guy. I went the cheap route and now I'm dead.
And now my arm is cut in half from
See some
shrapnel.
frying pans wrapped around you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take the door off my stove, my wood stove, and
Cast
string
iron
it wrapped
door.
around my neck.
Let's see.
What movie's
That's
that?
awesome.
It's Back to the Future.
You said it like you hate it.
Cause we talked about this the last time I was over at your house,
Oh.
and I was the
Well,
one that
that's not
told you
even Back
rounds
to the
go
Future.
through cast iron.
It's not even Back to the Future.
It's not.
Yeah, well, it's on Back to the Future, but it's on another one too.
Oh, I didn't know it was on another one.
That's where you got it from. It's a Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh.
Is it? Wow.
Don't ask me
Crap.
what movie
It's not
it is.
fist,
'cause
so
I
it's
don't
not
know. I just
fistful
know it's
dollars, is it?
Oh, it might be.
I think. Oh, that's the one where he goes in with the he comes into town
Yep.
and then he gets shot like a couple times, and the guy's like, he just so confused with what's going on, and he like pulls out his poncho and his
Right.
cast iron.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yep.
That's a good show.
So, but if you're gonna,
I should say.
so just a quick importance note: if you're gonna buy armor, buy level 3, because level 3 will stop 7.62 and 5.56.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that would hurt.
And that's the.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing 5.56 223s is the most common caliber now,
Yeah.
considering civil.
Until they go to the next
AR-15.
round that you were talking about.
Yeah, and it won't stop armor piercing. So that sucks, but it'll stop most
And-
rounds. So
Are we talking about a scenario in war, or like a scenario if like
Well-
civilization falls?
well, I'm buying that armor no matter what, because even if I don't get in an instance where I'm fighting rifles, if I'm still fighting pistols, it's gonna stop. But I want it to be just in case there's a rifle, it will stop. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to
mean,
buy
like, it will stop it until you feel the force of being
Oh, yeah.
connected with it.
But
It's
that's,
bad.
I mean, getting
You're still
a
alive.
bruise on my chest is better than getting a round in
Right.
the chest.
I agree that level 3 is great, because if civilization falls, I mean, I'm sure there won't be a
Rifles.
lot of civilians with armor piercing.
Yeah, no, it won't. And if you want to go,
I mean, like, I'm sure there'll be a lot of 223s.
yeah, I would go higher as high as I possibly could. But that's a good thing. But if you go
50
like,
millimeter tank.
no, nothing will stop those. But let's see.
Logan's
Have
out
you-
there in the middle
Yeah.
of the street with his fucking level 3 trying to take on a tank
I'm unstoppable, and he just
Oh,
disappears.
there's a
with
guy,
his
a veteran.
poncho.
Cast iron instead of the armor. There was a military veteran was talking about the tank. Can't remember what the caliber of the tank was, but he said shooting it even near, not connecting with not civilians, but a person. It doesn't need to connect with them, but just the force around
Yeah.
it will still blow arm off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
I don't think cast iron will and a poncho will help.
even 50 BMG will do some damage if it goes next to you.
Right.
Yeah.
The Warhog.
So
What do you call
if you
that?
get level
Kinetic-
4 armor,
kinetic?
kinetic energy, yeah, it'll be dumped into you, and because it's going past you, and it'll still hurt or possibly rip things off of you.
I can't remember the movie. I think it's a Bruce Willis movie that has Jack Black in it. It's like an 80s movie.
Really?
He's trying to assassinate somebody. He buys this fucking 50 cal. It's all set up electronically, remote, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he shoots it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's off by so much." And Jack Black's like, "No, it's not. You're crazy. Like, go stand over there." And he's like, "Hold this pack of cigarettes. If it's dead on, just hit the pack of cigarettes and blows his fucking arm off." I can't remember what movie that was. It was a pretty good fucking movie too.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that. That doesn't sound like a Jack Black kind of movie.
Right.
No, he was only in it for a second. Well, I think he sold the gun to him and he shot his arm off.
Like
That
a
was
little
it.
cameo of some sort.
Yeah.
Like
Interesting.
the Anchor Man, where he's in there and
Yeah.
he kicks the dog off the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, if you want the best protection we can offer, get level 4 plates because they'll stop 30-06 armor piercing, which is, that's a
We
hefty
are not
boy.
lawyers. We are not.
Yeah.
What's the
we
weight
can't.
difference?
Ooh, I don't know what the weight difference would be. I assume
That would
they're
be
roughly, I know, but like if you're already putting that much weight on you, it's probably not a whole.
You imagine how much weight plus 13 mags?
Yeah, that's the thing about the 13 mags. I've never been in combat, obviously. But 13 mags does see... I see where he's coming from, and I've seen it happen in videos where people will run out of ammo. But 13 mags, where do you even keep 13 mags?
Well, you keep 10 on your chest.
But how?
One
I
in
mean,
your ass.
most people can only carry... I think the most I've seen is 6, and that's what I would go for, is 6 on the plates. Or on the chest. But, like, where do you put the rest?
Are they double-sided? You know what I'm saying? Or is like duct tape 2 to each one? There you go.
You
There's 12
could
right
do
there.
that, but I think it'd be hard to put in the little pouches that way.
I'm gonna
I mean, like-
weigh. I'm gonna weigh. Oh, my skill's dead. I have a mag right here too. I was gonna weigh what one mag is in double tape, or even 2 mags, and see what. Well, I guess you could do it with one.
Just
Do the
times it
math.
by 2. And then times it by 3. What is it? 6? Some math. I don't know. I barely passed.
Oh, congratulations, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Wait, what? was
Holy
that?
sh! I'm not gonna say that word. Anyway,
Say this.
it can add up. Everything a soldier wears and carries, their load can carry up to and more than 68 pounds.
Yeah.
That's 68 pounds,
On-
including themselves.
Yeah, on top of your actual weight.
Right.
But I think I've seen a lot of them do end up being like 80 pounds. On an
Well, I mean, like,
average.
imagine being one of those guys with the LMG,
Yeah.
carrying that and
The
the
machine
bandolier
gunners.
of ammo.
Yeah,
around
that's like a
your neck,
20-pound gun.
And then your backpack, and then on top, depending on if you're bulked up or a small figure of a human.
Yeah. Cause
That would be
God, I can't even imagine that. Cause
in the heat of Iraq or wherever they were. That would be.
wearing a vest and everything. There's a guy at work I work with.
Oh my god.
And I'm not kidding you. He's probably pushing 100 pounds.
That's it?
And I've seen pictures of him wearing the rucksack.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they're 60 pounds.
They're half his weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
just
might be a little bit heavier than that, but he's skinny as. But I'm not kidding. He's got to be in that 100-pound range.
yeah.
He's
Well,
a badass
I thought
dude.
Oh, sorry.
No, you can continue.
Just saying, sorry.
Yeah, just talk
Oh.
over us.
Okay. I just wanted. Okay. I thought the military has a certain weight limit that you have to stay or go over.
I think it's just to
You know,
qualify for
I
boot
don't
camp.
know.
Is
Yeah,
it
I
okay?
don't know,
So you
I've
can
seen
just
them-
gain all that pounds, eat a big meal before you qualify, and
Yeah.
just shit it out the next day.
So,
No, so I did the math, right? And right now I'm currently 152, which is an all-time low for me in the past 6 years.
oh, wow.
Yeah. 68.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've lost like 15 pounds, I think, in the past
Holy
2 months. Yeah, in 2 months. Anyway, when I add 68 pounds onto that, which is the average kit loadout, so just your plates and your mags and your like med kit, that kind of thing on your chest, 68 pounds, brings it up to 220. So I've never even felt like walking around with 220 before, because I've never been that heavy. So I can't even imagine how exhausting that would be.
So when I tried out for at the time they call it tactical, or no, they call it turret. I don't even remember what it represents. It's stupid letters, but
Yeah.
Since then they changed it to SWAT, and they've been SWAT trained. But it's basically the emergency response team for the prison.
Mhm.
When I tried out, you had to run. I think it was a half a mile. Maybe
God.
I think the whole total course was a half a mile, but you had to run a quarter mile just running, and then you had to go through the obstacle course and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But it was with the 40-pound vest.
Yeah, and that's only 40.
Yeah, and that kicked my ass.
Mhm.
That was something else.
Yeah, so imagine 30 more pounds than that on average. You could have a heavier kit. So that's why I want to get into training with them. I want to spend the money, get the kit, and like really like run around, do some cardio with it, do some drills with it. Because if you
I would
don't,
walk with
whew.
it. I wouldn't do anything else with it.
Well, how are you gonna get to the point where you can run with it if you don't try and run
So-
with it?
Even the 40-pound vest, when I was running with it, I never went to the doctor, but I knew what was going on. I ruptured a disc.
Uh huh.
in the
Yeah,
back.
a lot of military guys
It
hurt their
stuck out
back.
yeah, it stuck out like a half an inch under my back. It was right in the middle, and my back was so jacked for years after that. But yeah, definitely take it easy on that kind of training.
Well, I
Well,
obviously
I mean-
would.
Military does it all the time, so
But like I said, they hurt their backs all the time in the military, all the time. But it is, like put it on, wear it, walk a mile, then do a mile and a half the next time, and then eventually work up to like jogging in it, because you do gotta work your cardio with those extra pounds on you. Otherwise, if a combat situation comes down and you can't run in it, then you're screwed.
Military should
absolutely.
start lifting with their legs and not their backs.
Start lifting. Well, a lot of it is from them
That's
jumping
not
out of
PETA
planes.
approved.
PETA.
Parachute.
Yeah, it's from when they parachute and they hurt their backs on landing.
Well, yeah, it's just all that force is. I mean, your emotion is almost a sudden stop. I would assume. Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah.
It's not PETA approved.
Alrighty then. Do we have anything more that we want to talk about and cover?
Oh, I can talk all night long.
I know I could, but we're running at an hour and a half.
I was gonna say I was looking at it a little bit ago. Like,
Mhm.
I can't find the number, but I know we're running late.
Yep, an hour and a
Anyway.
half. And I mean, if you guys are
No,
down,
that
we
was
could
good.
sit here and do another one in the same session. But for this recording, I want to cut it. Unless you guys got something to say.
I'm good.
We kind of bypassed. I was just going to mention that I bought a
Everything about guns?
2003. Yes,
Yeah.
it is about guns at least. A book, and it's like a catalog, and it's great because, for example, it has the Thompson model M1 carbine in here, and it has like 3 versions, and it tells you how much it was. And I was just going to mention, you don't even need to edit this in, but it has like a replicas of guns that we were talking about, like the beginning of the session.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
forgot to mention it, but like example, 1874 Sharps sniper rifle.
Ooh yeah, those things are.
In 2000, it's a replica. At
Mhm.
least this one says it's a replica. 2003, $1,055.
Whew, they're probably still about that
So
much.
just imagine actually no, I lied. That's okay. So the regular one is 1,115, but also available for single trigger, different models. It's a little bit cheaper, but
Mhm.
just that was 2003. That's not including inflation right now, so it's probably up there.
Yeah, they're probably up there.
I don't know what this original what I was going to add this to because it was so far back. But
Oh
I've
yeah,
just been
sorry.
staring at this page.
Sorry.
It's all good.
That happens. That happens.
I just want to throw that in there.
Alrighty then. Well, then that was a random episode about guns, so to say. Thanks for listening.
My favorite.
Like, share, follow us. Tune in every week for a new episode. I try to put them in about Sunday, Monday area, but life happens. So check us out.
Oh yeah, push all the damn buttons.
Push all the buttons.
All right, peace out.